Welcome to the Edge of NFT podcast with your hosts, Jeff Kelly, Ethan Janney, and Josh Krieger. We aim to bring you not only the top 1% of what's going on with NFTs today, but what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts and the business side, but also the human element of how NFTs are changing the way we interact with the things that we love. This podcast is for the futurists and dreamers, the disruptors and creators, the fans and connectors, and the makers and doers that are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Next, up we got hot topics, a very special hot topics, and we're going to talk about ETH Denver with John Poller. He's a Denver-based blockchain entrepreneur, inventor, and futurist, as we all are, and the founder and executive steward of ETH Denver. So, John, welcome. We got to chat a little bit before this, but looking forward to chat some more.
Looking forward to it. How are you guys?
Doing great, man. Doing great. I gotta say, going to ETH Denver was a very meaningful moment in my sort of history of this industry. The vibe that you guys create, the overall objectives, and sort of the bigger picture, let's make the world better attitude. Everyone I met at ETH Denver was really incredible, and it's what got me pumped about this industry. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You're not the only one that's actually said that. We've had, hitters like David Hoffman, Austin Griffith, and countless others actually tell us the same thing. I mean, different installations. We've had dozens of top projects actually get incubated and founded at the hackathon, which is, that's the whole hallmark of ETH Denver. Is it's the only event in the world of its size that has the hackathon as the main event. Everything else is a conference first, and then sort of does the hackathon thing sort of as an afterthought, and nobody really does it. But this is the main reason we're getting together. So it's totally a different vibe. We don't even call it a conference intentionally, because it's not. We call it a community innovation festival, because that more represents the vibe. The vibe is much more sort of creative, big tent, blank canvas, come express who you are and be rewarded for it.
Right on. So let's go back to the beginning though. How did ETH Denver start, and what inspired you to launch this event, and how has the event evolved to include projects from all different chains?
Yeah, so in 2016, the Ethereum meetup in Denver was 10 people, in a shitty bar, and sitting around talking about, smart contracts and stuff that I really didn't understand to begin with. And then in the early spring 2017, when the sort of initial ICO boom was kind of kicking off, the interest in the meetup swelled to max capacity. So we had 300 and something people every month, plus a wait list. So we were just sitting around going, holy crap, we had no idea that this many people actually were paying attention to this. Because our little dorky meetup before with 10 people, pizza and beer is lame. And then so after about 4 or 5 months of that, I was getting my entrepreneurial itch of we should build some stuff. We've got a lot of people that want to build, so let's do a hackathon. And then so the founders of the meetup were we've already done that, and nobody really came, nobody cared. And I'm like, no, I'm talking about bigger ambitions. Let's actually bring in the international community, and let's bring in some luminaries, and let's actually build Colorado as a destination of choice for Web3 and blockchain innovation. And that was sort of the talking points that we always wanted to do that. But you're not going to do that if all you do is have a couple of dozen nerds building some things on a weekend, right? You need to build it bigger. So yeah. The first event, the goal was to have 401 people that we wanted to have. And the reason for the number is in October of 2017, the initial hackathon happened at ETH. It was ETH Waterloo in Waterloo, Canada, just outside of Toronto. And there was, you know, the reported number is very round, but they said they had 400 people. Yeah, sorry about the background noise there. My kids just got home from school and I had to like tell them I was not available for the moment.
No worries.
Yeah, work-life integration, man. It just happens, you know, you just do what you got to do. So we set out to have 401 people, just, you know, just for posterity. Yeah, we're the biggest one ever, right? Just for like, you know, locker room comparison is sort of dumb, but like whatever. And then, yeah, lo and behold, we had 1,500 people show up from like 60 countries.
Whoa.
So the timing was right, you know, the market was primed. Like, you know, we went through some pretty volatile times with Ethereum back then. You know, it went up to almost 1,500 and then it tanked to like 500 and then went back down to like 80 or 90 at one point. So, I mean, it was nuts. But, you know, the net result of it was, you know, people had a very different experience because we're not you know, conferences are typically very centralized and they're very, you know, sort of, they run like businesses, you know, you just operate them like a business. Well, we've, from the very get-go, depended heavily on the community to help us execute. So it feels very much like a community of communities. And it's a very deep community here in Colorado now, because we have built Colorado into a destination of choice for Web3 and blockchain innovation. And I mean, that actually became a reality. So like that's happening. You know, our governor is the co-founder of Techstars and our securities commissioner is the former chief counsel of the Ethereum Foundation. So like, you know, you do the math. But this will be our 5th installation now. And we're expecting, you know, I mean, just ticketed, we're going to ticket like 7,000 or 8,000 people. And we've got 12,000 applications right now. So like we don't have anywhere near the capacity to handle everybody that wants to come. Now that doesn't mean that everybody is going to be hacking. There's actually quite a few people that just want to attend. The priority is on builders. So if you're trying to get in last minute, you know, and we actually use the meme Biddle. I don't know if you've seen Biddle, BUIDL. We invented that meme back in 2018. So that sort of got adopted as like the counterpoint to like HODL, which is the Bitcoin meme, OG. And then, yeah, so you asked the question about how did we get so cross-chain friendly? Well, the thing that we've always focused on is really building the decentralized future, the decentralized web. And even though Ethereum has a pretty large head start, I would say, we never wanted to like just be a bunch of Ethereum maxis. I mean, there's plenty of possibilities that we have a multi-chain universe, we have a cross-chain universe, we have all sorts of different things. And we just decided, and we were the first ones to do this, and we actually got a lot of flack for it, where we invited other chains to come and participate. And that created a lot of EVM compatibility and a lot of other things that just, you know, a lot more collaboration. Not every chain is highly collaborative, but like most of them are that come to and participate in our community. And the community gets to decide, you know, where they want to allocate their time and attention, because it's a community of communities. So just because you show up, even if you're a sponsor, it doesn't guarantee anything. You've really got to like add value and create activations and engagement. I always say community is the new IP. So the projects that are going to be successful in the end, it has very little to do with their technology and how good it is. There's some really damn good technology out there that I've seen that's like, wow, that's really cool. But then they operate at like a corporate hierarchy and like nobody in the community wants to use it. So it's like, it doesn't matter how good it is. You know, it's very interesting paradigm shift as compared to Web 2. So that's where we are. And it's going to be absolutely bananas. I mean, we're literally airdropping thousands of people into Denver. The state's thrilled. And, you know, we've got our COVID protocols and everything ready to go. So keep everybody safe. We're paying for everybody's testing on site. So, I mean, we're literally offering testing as you walk into the venue for free. instant rapid tests. So like,
I'm just glad that my team is figuring out our accommodations before the show airs, because I don't need any more hype interfering with my Airbnb booking.
dude, I would get it in, man, because like I get emails every day, and I've run out of my. Typically, I have like, you know, a block of rooms that I can allocate, and I do. We're already full. Like everything's blowing up at the seams, and I've never. I mean, I've been around the event scene a long time in crypto, right? So I've seen, you know, since. I mean, I've seen OG consensus evolve. I've seen all sorts of different things from ethereal to, you know, ECC to whatever, you know, it, and I've never seen the FOMO like this. I've never seen it. I mean, NFT NYC got close, but it was a different kind of population. Like this is like developers. This is like nerdy coders and like, you know, crypto economics experts and like super hardcore, like, you know, builders. Not just, you know, hey, I'm excited about the next NFT project, which there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we got to get to mass adoption in a lot of different ways, but I've never seen anything like it. So in one way we're excited, and the other way I'm sort of terrified because it's really taken on a life of its own.
Yeah, no, man, yeah, it really has. And I think you'll find that as you're identifying, I mean, the culture of the event itself is evolving based on the amount of interest you're getting,
Yeah.
and the diversity of attendees across all different backgrounds, whether developers or investors or just fans of the space. I've participated in several of the, you know, ETH Global hackathons online, and every single time just blown away by the projects coming out of it, the ideas,
it's insane.
the community, right? So gosh, it's all going to come to a head here live and in person in Denver here in
well,
the
the average the average ETH Global hackathon, and we're no longer like we've not been affiliated with ETH Global for some time. We helped them launch at ETH Denver in 2018. But you know, we sort of have a, you know, we collaborate with each other on a lot of things, but you know, we're a separate entity or a separate organization. Our, you know, we're now Sporked out as the sort of master community for ETH Denver. But yeah, the average size of one of those is about 300-400 people for an online hackathon. You know, we're talking about 10x that for just hackers. And we're talking about 20-30x that for total attendees. And we've got, we were just looking at content this weekend. It's hundreds of hours. We have 6 stages running concurrently of free content from the like largest luminaries in the world.
Amazing,
to get access to this, typically, I mean, you're looking at a $500 ticket probably just to be able to come to something like this. And we are the world's largest, freest hackathon, buildathon, innovation festival in the world. It's literally free to come. We've reduced economic barriers literally almost to zero. I mean, there are some, you know, time-based, you know, economics and travel and things that might get a little sticky for people, but we even have travel scholarships coming from 3 different groups. You know, like literally there are some people that will not just make money, but they'll get their projects funded and have 0 expenses coming out of this.
Yeah. So amazing, man.
It's pretty insane.
There's a lot to look forward to. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you as like just something you're super excited for as the event here comes to a head?
Well, every year we've had a prediction, or we've sort of set the tone for like the year of the fill in the blank. In 2019, we said it was the year of DeFi. It was a little early. We were 1 year early. In 2020, we said it was the year of the DAO, and that was about 2 years too early. And then in 2021, we said it was the year of the creator economy, which we were 100% right on that, the NFTs and all this other stuff that's going on. And then this year, we're saying it's the year of mass adoption. So 2022. So the thing I'm most interested in is the technology and the protocols and the tool sets have evolved to a place where we've got a lot of interesting primitives and natives and tools that can be used. And I'm dying to see how the builder population is going to create the next wave of mass adoption vectors, because like it's coming. I mean, my day job is a good example of that. I work on a project called Opolis, which is building it's an employment DAO. It basically replicates the feeling of employment with group healthcare benefits, you know, all the bells and whistles, all the way down to getting a W-2 for those that work in DAOs and in the metaverse, right? So these people don't have employers, right? They're just generating income. So we've basically created a protocol to plug those people in to create the bridge between both worlds. So more and more of that and we use a ton of crypto primitives, right? So like under the hood, it's not just Web2 tech. I mean, we're actually building a public utility infrastructure for this service that's owned by the community, right? So that's why we call it an employment DAO, or a digital employment cooperative. It has a legal wrapper, but it's owned and operated by the members, just like any other DAO would be. So it's very interesting. But I think the thing I'm most excited is, you know, I think to echo your point about just how amazing it is to see the creativity and sort of the cleverness of the, you know, of the builder population. You know, biddlers are really fascinatingly genius. And it just blows my mind every year at the stuff that you see and how they're pressing the edges. So I mean, from a, you know, groupthink standpoint, there's no other possible way to generate so much innovation so quickly than to do something like this, which is why we love doing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm still kind of, I don't know if we're going to be able to send me there. I love that hackathon environment. So we'll see.
Nothing
We'll see
like
if this
it.
gets to happen. But, you know, what about speakers? You mentioned, you know, luminaries, but is there anybody you're particularly excited about? You're like, oh, like I'm so amped about this speaker.
Well, we've invited Kimball Musk to come and talk about his new DAO project. So he's in Colorado.
Awesome.
Here. He builds, lives, works in Colorado, right? So in sort of part of our showcase of like what's happening in Colorado, he'll be here to talk about you know, things like, you know, just, well, it's around it's a DAO that's focused on
green DAO.
Big green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
cool.
Sustainable food cultivation, and even education for people who want to grow their own food, those kinds of things. I mean, it's really cool stuff. And then, you know, adding in token economics and incentives and all these other cool things. I mean, it could be really fascinating. Governor Polis will be back. So he'll be talking about Colorado as the first digital state. So it's always, that's an announcement he made earlier or last year at the 2021 installation, his intention to see that as a reality. And, you know, he'll be giving an update on kind of what we're doing. Obviously, the pandemic has made things go a little bit slower than I think everybody would like, because he's had his time and attention directed in one emergency or another at times. But, you know, we have made some progress. And yeah, I'm really interested to hear about that. I'm also, you know, Danny Ryan's going to be in attendance talking about ETH2. So, you know, everybody's kind of wondering what's going on with ETH2. We've got a series of folks that are going to be talking about their stories, right? So Austin Griffith, who's, you know, famous for his, you know, tooling with Biddle and Scaffold ETH, and, you know, his work at the foundation. Like, I remember in 2018, he showed up to ETH Denver in a suit and a bow tie. Like, that's how, like, you know, he had no idea what was going on. And now to see him as such a, you know, a bright contributor in the space, I mean, it's fabulous to see. So he'll be there giving his sort of journey into crypto and sort of his backstory, talking about how ETH Denver was a catalyst for him. David Hoffman from Bankless will be doing something similar. He'll actually be co-emceeing. Song a Day Man, John Mann, will be there. He's been with us since 2019. So he just launched a successful cooperative DAO that for his song a day. So he holds the Guinness Book of World Records for creating songs every day, and he
That's cool.
NFTized
Yeah, I'm
them.
aware of that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's a good friend of ours. I mean, we were basically part of his meager revenue stream when nobody gave a shit about this stuff, and we were NFTing his songs and doing all this stuff back in the day, and then now it's like a big thing. So we've done that many times where we sort of do things that. I mean, we had our first NFT art gallery in 2018. And nobody was talking about this. Nobody. We had our first scavenger hunt. Now you go to all the crypto conferences and they got POAPs and all that. POAP was also founded at ETH Denver in 2019. That's proof of attendance protocol. That's Patricio Werthalter out of Argentina.
Well, I think it was like 18 when I was there, and the award went to a game, an ETH based game, and look where we're at now with
oh, I know.
Yeah,
we were predicting that years ago. So I mean, 3 years in advance of when that stuff took off. So we've had the good fortune of being right on predictions early in most cases. Like, I think we've overestimated the development time, but I think this is the time we're going to see things accelerate quite a bit. Just the rapid innovation, the rapid fire of innovation is insane. Like, you can have an idea about something. It's like, hey, wouldn't that be cool? And then you find out that somebody's been building it for a year. You're like, holy cow, like, I had no idea that they were even doing that. So the decentralized nature of just, in the open permissionless ability to just build is pretty remarkable. And we're just harnessing that in a week-long event, to catalyze it even more.
right on. And before we go, I just got to mention, I got my acceptance as an attendee, and we'll be doing some podcasting we're pumped about. And then I started poking around and I came upon these Bufficorn NFTs. And of course, I immediately aped in and minted one without knowing what I was even buying. But it turns out, from sharing with you, it's a pretty rare one. What's going on with these Bufficorn NFTs this year?
Yeah, so your previous guest was sort of meh on PFP profile picture things, and I am too, actually. The only projects that I'm interested in are those that have utility and have community. So the good news about our situation is we already have community, right? We've got a huge community in 106 countries. We've had 40 something thousand people attend, both in person and virtually. So like, people know the Denver brand, people know the Bufficorn and what it represents, right? So the Bufficorn is the strength of the buffalo and the magic of the unicorn. Buffaloes are sort of uninteresting animals. They're big and strong, but they don't really do much. And then unicorns are kind of assholes. I don't even know if I can say that, but like, you don't ever see them with anybody else. They don't collaborate. Like, when was the last time you saw a unicorn with another unicorn, or any other animal for that matter? So we bred them and made up this whole backstory about this war of Ethereum and all this stuff, funny, haha, cutesy stuff. And then we came up with the Bufficorn as the kind of sort of patriarch, or what would be the gender agnostic term for that? I don't even know, but like, the leader of this sort of like group of characters, right? So we have the Spork Marmot, the Pegabufficorn, and the Buffigway, and the Bufficorn, and it's great, right? And Sporky, right? So there's all these different characters that kind of represent different components of what it means to build this community. So the profile project was launched in November during NFT NYC. We're about 50% sold out. I'm assuming by the time the event comes around, they're going to be gone. There is utility at the event, so there will be private spaces, events that you can only get in if you have a Bufficorn Biddle Brigade PFP NFT. So the mint price is 0.1 ETH. So due to the market conditions, there's actually a discount right now. And you can mint up to 20 in a batch. We've seen some pretty big mints. So we've got some pretty bullish community members that really love this project, and we've actually seen a few of them already sell in the secondary market for some pretty decent amount of money, considering that we haven't even sold out of the mints yet, right? So just because of the scarcity of the particular assets. The one that you guys got has the Austin Griffith bow tie and shirt, which is like super rare. It's like 0.3% or something, might even be less than that. But it's a super tiny population. So the characteristics are super fun. They're mostly geared around things that you'll see at ETHDenver. Like there's one that holds a yerba mate, right? Because we give out free yerba mate every year. There's a Buffacorn one that holds the B is for Buffacorn children's book that we wrote. There's a bunch of other like little kind of hidden meanings and stuff, like rare stuff. Interestingly, some of the most rare ones, if you get kind of a naked Buffacorn where it doesn't have a lot of stuff going on and is in the picture, those are actually some of the most rare because they don't have that many traits. So don't think you didn't get a rare one. In fact, I almost gave one away for Christmas. And I always check the rarity on these, so I'm not giving away like a top 100 or something. And it was like 43 in total rarity. I was like, holy cow, I didn't realize that. So when I looked at the way that they were, because it only had 4 characteristics versus most of them have like 6 or 7, it's like super rare. So anyway, it's a ton of fun. It does really represent being a part of the community. All of the funds go to maintaining our free status and providing new educational opportunities for people in the space. So this isn't a get rich quick thing for our community. Community's owned by SporkDAO, which is tokenized by the Spork. So it's really just going to support the community of communities that we've built. And it's a cool thing to say that you were a part of. I mean, I think communities that build these kinds of art projects into sort of real engagement, I think if you actually execute it well, I think it'll be beautiful.
Hey, you convinced me, man. During this conversation, I did mint another Buffacorn. I jumped on the train again. This has been amazing. Excited to see you in person and appreciate you taking a moment to spend some time with us. And I think we're going to do a giveaway of a Buffacorn for our listeners. Is that correct?
We are. So we will give away a Buffacorn PFP. The instructions for participation in that will be listed on Jarl's website. We'll share it with our social channels as well. But yeah, I mean, just light lift stuff, like just go like the pages and do some other things and we'll give one away.
You may have to like our Edge of NFT Buffacorn.
Yes.
As one.
It may be the most popular Buffacorn in OpenSea. Like we actually
I can guarantee it will be.
We did that with Zed Run, and even though our horses only run a few races, it happens to be one of the most popular horses on OpenSea. But anyways, John, how can folks stay in touch with you and sort of learn more about ETHDenver?
Yeah, so we do a live stream every Friday from our Twitch channel. So if you haven't joined the Discord yet, I highly suggest doing that. You can find that on our Twitter profile or at ETHDenver.com or on sporkdao.com. I mean, you can find it all over the place. Sporkdao.org, actually. My apologies there. But yeah, you can come check in with us there. As far as me, I'm at Paler John on Twitter, and you can find my public ENS address there if you want to send me any NFTs. I won't say no to them. But yeah, I mean that's probably the best way. I mean, if you want to keep up with the current events on what's happening leading up to ETHDenver, Friday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, we have a live stream that happens every week to talk about the next thing that's happening, like drop the next piece of alpha, or just help orient like what's going on, where to go, what to do, how's the schedule going to be, like where do I, when do I need to come into town, like all of those things are there, and it's going to be an insane 9 days. So it goes from the 11th to the 20th in its totality. The real meat and potatoes is going to kick off on like the 15th after Valentine's Day. But I'm hearing about a ton of things that are happening that first weekend. The list of events that's happening on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is like pushing 100 side events. It's insane. And then the main event kicks off on Friday. So, or really technically Thursday evening is opening ceremonies. So like that'll be really action packed. But then the real big day is Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday is the judging and sort of final competition. We also have a 3-venue after party that will host up to 6,000 people. It'll be the biggest, the biggest, and we're flying in, DJs and artists that are very friendly to the NFT space. We're throwing down. So like, that happens on the evening of the 20th. So, we'll even have before that, we'll have our closing party with our Colorado food show. And we've even got a Buffaquay IPA custom beer that we've made in partnership with Woods Boss Brewery here in town. So like, we got like 5,000 cans of that running around. So like, it's going to be insanely fun.
If you're interested in a small kind of low key chill conference / hackathon, this is not that one. Come
Probably
connect,
not.
build, do something really awesome. February 11th to the 20th, ETH Denver. John, thanks so much for joining us today.
Although
man.
I will say we do have a space now that will be dedicated for introverts. So if you do want a quiet, sort of more chill space without a lot of the, crazy stuff, yeah, we got that too.
The conference is large enough to have indicated a special place for introverts.
Yeah, love it.
And
love it.
Sensory deprecated space.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, look, I think we've reached the outer limit at the Edge of NFTs for today. So thanks for exploring with us. We've got space for more adventures on this starship. So invite your friends and recruit some cool strangers that will make this journey all so much better. How? Go to iTunes right now, rate us and say something awesome. Then go to edgeofnft.com to dive further down the rabbit hole. And remember, we always invite you to co-create and build with us at Edge of NFT. We're unlocking a whole new way to connect and collaborate with us through our own NFT drops, spirit seeds, leading to living tree NFTs, which light the way to our own event, NFT LA, a one-of-a-kind, immersive, and unforgettable experience at LA Live in Los Angeles, March 28th to the 30th. Check it out at nftla.live and move quick on early bird tickets as they are now live and selling out fast. Lastly, be sure to tune in next time for more great NFT content. Thanks again for sharing this time with us today.